Hello, and welcome to the best football show. I'm Brian Baldinger. As you can tell, I am not at NFL Films or at my house in Florida. I'm at a hotel here in Orlando, Florida. Just got back from the Hula Bowl practice, pretty spirited 2.5-hour session led by Brian Billick, coaching one team, and Mike Smith, former Falcons coach on the other team. A bunch of good assistant coaches there. Fields were covered with assistant coaches and scouts and personnel people from around the league. Every team is represented. There's some good players in this year's Hula Bowl. But really the star was seeing Deion Sanders out there today. And me and Prime go pretty far back. We both played with the Cowboys, but not at the same time. And we worked together at the NFL Network for a long time. So I've worked with Deion for a long time, came over and said hello. First guy I asked him about, honestly, was Travis Hunter. I go, Prime, congratulations, man. You got the world, college football's best player. I go, the question really, Prime, is, as we get into this Travis Hunter season is, can he play both ways in the NFL? He goes, absolutely. I said, he could be a top 10 receiver, Prime? He goes, yes. He goes, here's the key. The key is in college, we play nothing but up-tempo. We run a play every 15, 16 seconds. They don't do that in the NFL. He'll have a lot more time to recover and to be able to go both ways. And he thinks he's definitely going to be able to do both. So that's just interesting. That's that. Then I asked him about the Cowboys, what he would do. I'm not going to tell you everything that he tell me, but he said, they missed on getting Sean Payton. And really, and I threw out, what Jim Harbaugh is doing with the Chargers. And we started talking about old school coaches. Obviously, he played, for one of the great coaches, in the history of the game, in Jim Johnson. And, when he says old school coaches, like guys that just fall in line, like there's one voice in the building. And when you look at what Sean Payton is doing in Denver in 2 years in a turnaround with limited cap space, limited resources, and he's got his team in the playoffs. You look what Jim Harbaugh did in the first year. Denver hasn't been to the playoffs since Peyton Manning retired, 10 years basically. You look what Harbaugh is doing. This is a perennial losing franchise that gets injured, can't tackle, plays terrible defense. And the quarterback never reaches potential in Justin Herbert. And look what Jim Harbaugh is doing. This coaching thing in the NFL, because everybody's talking about all these coaching searches and, who's a hot candidate. I don't really believe in that stuff. And I don't think Deion does either. There's got to be, and if you look at Jim Harbaugh, he's on his second stint in the NFL. You look at Sean Payton, he's on his second stint in the NFL. You look at Bill Belichick and what the league missed on him on maybe his third team, Cleveland, the Patriots, and they missed. And now they're all, hey, can we get Bill Belichick? Well, they missed on him last year. And the best football coach that any of us have ever seen was out there for anybody to be had last year. But they were all infatuated with the new hot name. Well, the hot names, honestly, are people that know how to build cultures and know how to speak with one voice. Strict disciplinarians. You got news coming out of Miami today that players are always late to Mike McDaniel meetings. And they're like, how's that even happen? Like, why are they even on the team? So players are going to do what they're allowed, what they get away with, until they can't get away with it anymore. And they get cut, fired, fined, whatever, embarrassed. So we can talk about Ben Johnson, and we can talk about all these names that are out there for all these 6 coaches that are open. And you go, okay. And I feel like I'm going in the direction because today the Raiders broke ranks with their general manager, Tom Telesco, who basically was in place to hire Antonio Pierce. And now Pierce is gone yesterday, Telesco's gone today, and it really just points to Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady has stepped in. Whether he's got 5% or 10%, he's running the Raiders with Mark Davis right now. John Gruden came out, I think today on Barstool Sports, saying that his interview with Al Davis went on for 4 days. Like they talked about everything before they ever got to how to coach the quarterback, what's the offense going to look like, Like, there's so many other things to know. And that's why sometimes these guys on their second go-around, Mike Shanahan on his second go-around, didn't get it right with the Raiders, got it right, with Denver. Sometimes it takes a second chance to figure things out. And I think that's where the Raiders are at. Okay, Tom Brady is just basically, and I ran into Tom 3 different times this year. And yeah, he was down there on the field before every game. And I think he was, he talked to Christian McCaffrey, talked to guys, whatever. He's in Tampa. Tristan Wirfs comes up, gives him a big hug. He was his left tackle when they won a Super Bowl. But I think Tom Brady was looking at the landscape of all these different teams. I don't think he's impressed by numbers, stats, some wins, certain teams that have had a lot of wins but haven't won Super Bowls. I'm being a little cryptic here because I don't want to give you away what Tom Brady told me in confidence. That wouldn't be right to Tom. But I think Tom Brady is looking at, I'm sure he's picked up the phone and talked to Bill Belichick and what it would take to get him out of North Carolina. I don't think Bill Belichick's leaving North Carolina. I just don't. I just think, like, he wants his players to be committed to him. He wants his organization to be committed to him. What would that say about that trust that he wants to have in you and you to have in him if he just pulled up and left North Carolina after what he just said and what he just promised? I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think guys like Mike Vrabel, their second time around will be better than the first time around. I do think Brian Flores is going to be better his second time around than he was his first time around. And so we can talk about these hot coordinators that they've got. Dave Canales got hired last year. Okay, we'll give him some time in Carolina. Mike McDonald got hired in Seattle, coaching the number 1 defense in football in Baltimore last year, number 1 in sacks. All right, was on the verge of the playoffs. I think Brady has some real input because I think Pierce is gone and Telesco's gone. And really on Monday, when it was Black Monday and coaches were getting fired, everybody was safe. Everybody seemed like they were safe. Nobody had said anything. Now it looks embarrassing that they go out there and Antonio Pierce has a press conference on Monday, and I haven't been told anything different than I'm the head coach. Well, there's change. And we'll see. We'll see where that leads to. They have taken a coach from the Patriots, Josh McDaniels, to the Raiders. It was disaster. But maybe John Gruden. Maybe John Gruden is a guy that people should talk to. I know the transgressions and what was said, reportedly said in emails, whatever. I think we all can get over all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to surprise me to see John Gruden's name because all 6 of these teams, I don't care if it's the Jets or New Orleans, they got to get it right. The Jets have had 50-plus years of futility. They got to get it right. General manager and coach and quarterback. Maybe Brady will help them do that, when we get there. So I think the coaching searches that are out there are interesting to me because a lot of it revolves around the quarterback. So everybody just mentions basically 2 guys right now, Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward. And then they might be really good pro quarterbacks. I haven't really, outside of watching on TV some games that they played and listened to what a couple people have told me about them, I don't know much about them. I've put my eyeballs on those guys. But tonight, on tonight's Orange Bowl in Miami or South Florida, you're going to see Penn State play Notre Dame. All right? And it features 2 really good quarterbacks. Riley Leonard started his career at Duke, and he was really good. I think when he got hurt at Duke last year, I think the Blue Devils were undefeated and ranked. And then he got injured, missed the season, transferred to Notre Dame. Here's Notre Dame on the doorstep. Riley Leonard is a guy that you have to look at. And then on the other side, Drew Aller has not committed to throwing his name into the hat. I think he wants to see how things go. He can certainly, with the NIL money and all that, he can certainly come back to Penn State and do great things. But he's a big guy with a strong arm. I know that much. But let's watch these guys tonight because we need quarterbacks. Like we were gifted this year We were gifted this year with Jaden Daniels, gifted with Bo Nix, gifted by what we saw the last 3 weeks of Michael Penix Jr. I feel like Caleb can be in that conversation, but we have to, we got to get him in a stable organization. So I think the quarterbacks are always going to lead the discussions, starting really tonight in the Orange Bowl. I'm looking at, Will Rogers in the Hula Bowl. Okay, he started his career at Mississippi State, bounced around, ended up at Washington. But you watch him play, he's not a big guy, but he's a smart guy, and he knows where to throw the ball, and he's accurate. So, we're going to look at some quarterbacks here. You're going to look at Missouri's quarterback right here. All right, Brady Cook. He's had a good career at Missouri. We got to see these guys kind of in the postseason right now. So, anyways, that's sort of my breakdown today. Talking to Prime kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things in the coaching world. We'll be back here probably breaking things down real soon. Please join the Best Football Show. Become a regular. I love to talk football with you every day. I'll be at the Hula Bowl practice tomorrow, and I'll be announcing the Hula Bowl on Saturday here at Central Florida. Look forward to bringing you the action. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Enjoy the Orange Bowl tonight.